So should you bulk / cut or should you maingain?
Hello, my babies.
Welcome back to another video, folks. How are we doing out there? Are we hanging in there, kids? I hope y'all are hanging in there. So there has been quite a lot of chatter lately about cutting and bulking versus maingaining. And just to set this clear right now, in this video today, I will not be using any names. However, I will be giving my personal opinion on this whole controversy of whether or not you should bulk and cut or if you should maingain. Let me start with a little story for y'all. Let's throw it back to the year of 2015. Gee, simpler times, huh? This was the year I decided to do my first and probably only bodybuilding competition. I will explain the probably only part later in this video, but yes, I decided to do the bikini division because I'm a small little girl and I felt like it was the best fit for me. So it was my first time successfully dieting. Prior to competing, I did try to cut multiple times, but they were all complete and utter failures because I would do what's called yo-yo dieting. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it. I would eat super clean for like probably 2 weeks max, and then I would decide, you know what, I think it's time for a cheat day, but that cheat day would turn into a couple days, which would turn into a week, and then before I knew it, I fell off my diet again. So I started to realize that perhaps this clean eating thing was not for me. When I competed, I did do If It Fits Your Macros. Oh my god, do you guys remember those days when that was like the controversial thing? First, let me tell you guys, I was not a overweight girl at all to begin with. When I first started my cut for the show, I think I was about 125 pounds. As you see in this photo, I was not overweight or anything. Probably did not need to cut for as long as I did, but it was my first time competing, so I really didn't know how much time I needed, and I'm that kind of person where I'm like, yo, let's just play it safe, let's give myself more time. I'd rather be over-prepared than under-prepared, but that was actually a mistake because I ended up cutting for 6 months. That's right, half of a year I was in a caloric deficit. Like I said, looking back now, I probably did not need that long at all. During these 6 months, it was pretty miserable. I mean, don't get me wrong, I did have days where I felt really good, but a majority of the time I was just very hungry and sad, and I had to miss out on a lot of social events, and it was just not a fun time, to be real. But by the time I stepped on stage, I felt like it was all worth it because I did end up placing. I placed 3rd in one category and 5th in the other category. However, afterwards, I did develop an ED. Cannot say the full 2 words because the overlords of the tube do not like that, but I did develop an ED. A lot of you know it was binge ED. I have another video all about that if you would like to check it out after this one, but I'm not going to go too much in detail because it's kind of difficult to talk about and that's not what this video is about. So check that out after this one. But basically, my hormones were super screwed up from cutting for so long. I never felt full. I felt very out of control. It was really difficult time in my life, so I decided I will probably never compete again because this was not worth it. I'm happy to say I am in a much better place now, much healthier relationship with food. I just feel like I learned from that cutting and bulking is not for me because I tried to do the reverse diet thing after my show. I was trying to build my calories back up so that I could start bulking for the off season so I could put on muscle. You guys know how it goes, but that did not work out. That did not work out at all because I ended up gaining about 30 pounds. I was probably the most miserable I had been in a long time. I was just super unhappy with my body, and I've had tons and tons of comments that say, oh, you looked better when you were in the off season, or you looked better with the extra weight. But I really don't give a fuck what anybody says because I was not happy with myself. Your opinion of yourself is the only one that matters. So I don't care if people think I look better then. I feel the best I've ever felt right now, which leads me to my points of why I quote-unquote maingain, which I don't even really like to label how I eat. I'm like, why do we have to label it, bro? Like, why can't we just say I eat healthy, I eat a balanced diet? If you would like to label it, I suppose you could say I practice mindful eating or intuitive eating. But let's rewind it back to after I gained 30 pounds and started my recovery process. I did lose pretty much all of it, actually. I lost about, I would say like 25 pounds between the time of this photo and the time of this photo. So this photo, it was actually when I first moved to LA. Then guess what happened, guys? You all know what happened. The pandemic. This amazing, beautiful, wonderful pandemic happened. And when that happened, I obviously couldn't go to the gym, as many of you could not as well. During the pandemic, I feel like people either gained weight or lost like all of their muscle and lost a lot of weight. I happened to lose practically all of my muscle and I lost a lot of weight. So as you can see, I was very tiny. That was not fun, but hey, now I'm back in the gym. I started going back to the gym about a little bit over a year now. So since then, I have gained a lot of muscle, I would say, maybe a little bit of fat, maybe some weight, but I'm really, really happy with how I look right now. And I'm really happy with my strength. I'm happy with my progression. And when I started going back to the gym, obviously I knew I had to get my diet back on point. Instead of trying to do like a cut or a bulk, I said, I'm just gonna make sure that I'm hitting my macro goals. That's really all I pay attention to. I set my macro goals on this website called healthyeater.com. It has a macro calculator. And I believe I just set my goal for Maingain because I just kind of wanted to see what would happen. I didn't know if I would gain weight. I didn't know if I would lose weight off of the macros that I chose. So I just wanted to test it out. What I did, I opened MyFitnessPal, as you guys know, as a popular app for tracking your calories. And I put in everything that I would potentially eat in a day. So I put in my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner, and then my snacks. And once I put everything in, I looked at what the macros would be for that potential day and made sure that what I was eating lined up with my protein goals, my carb goals, and my fat goals. And it did. So then I decided, okay, I'm gonna eat all these foods every day. So that way I don't have to track because I already know based off of what I've put in my MyFitnessPal that I'm hitting my goals. So it makes it super, super easy on me. And yes, I pretty much eat the same thing every day. I know that a lot of people don't like to do that and it gets really old, but for me it works. So I did that for a few weeks just to see, like, will I gain weight off of these calories? Will I lose weight? What's gonna happen? I realized that I wasn't really gaining weight or losing weight. I was pretty much staying stable, which makes sense because I did put the goal for Maingain, but I was increasing strength. So that was exciting. And I assume that's because I had not been going to the gym for like a year. So I was basically like a novice again, even though I wasn't really, but you know what I'm saying. Then after a few months off of being on these calories, I started to gain a little bit of weight, but I also started to gain a lot of muscle. And although I did say I eat basically the same thing every single day, there are days where I will have something that's not in my diet. I'll have a cookie, or if I go to a friend's house and they're like, do you want to go to In-N-Out? I'll go and eat In-N-Out or something. I'm not crazy strict like I was when I was competing. It's super healthy for me. The biggest lesson I learned from competing is to always put your mental health before your physique goals. So let's say that you have a physique goal where you want to be like 5% body fat, but maybe that physique goal will not be good for your mental health because you have to understand that each body fat percentage comes with terms. For example, if 5% body fat, one of the terms is that you can't go out with your friends on the weekends, or that you can't have like a cheat meal every once in a while, and it's really important for you to go out with your friends, then you're not going to be happy. Your mental health is going to suffer from that. And yeah, you might be 5% body fat, but if you're not mentally happy, what's the point? You know, I do think that it's important for you to be realistic about whether or not your goals align with your mental health. This is just for me personally. If I am to progress slower because I don't bulk or cut, I'm okay with that. That's just my personal choice. That's my personal opinion. I know how I am, and I know that if I were to bulk and look this same way I looked in this photo when I was miserable, that I would not be happy. Even if I was making progress, I just know for me personally, I would not be happy. So I'm just gonna do whatever makes me the happiest. And I suggest you should all do the same. Perhaps some people out there can handle the weight gain that comes with the bulk. And I don't believe that if you bulk, you have to get overweight or obese. I think you can do a bulk more mindfully, but I also do understand that sometimes it can be really hard to not dirty bulk. I just think that you should experiment and figure out what works best for you, because for some people, bulking and cutting might work best for them, but for other people, maybe more of a long-term lifestyle approach works best for them. I have a special place in my heart for bodybuilding, don't get me wrong. I love bodybuilding. I love seeing my delts grow. I love seeing certain muscles grow. It's very fascinating to me, and I absolutely love lifting weights. It makes me the happiest person in the world. The gym, I absolutely adore the gym, and I adore lifting, and especially lifting heavy. It makes me super happy. So don't get me wrong, I do have days where I'm like, should I try like the whole bulking cutting thing again? Because like, would I progress faster? But for me, I would say I lift more for my mental health. I do it just because it makes me really happy. The muscle growth and looking good and all that is just a bonus for me, to be honest. I just always want to encourage the message of living a lifestyle that is good for both your mental and your physical health. If you find yourself main gaining and you feel like you're unhappy with your mental physical health, then stop doing that. If you find yourself bulking and cutting and you feel like that's making you unhappy with your mental and physical health, then stop doing that. Just figure out what works for you. So should you bulk/cut or should you main gain? You should do whatever is best for you long term. I think that will look different for everybody. So that is my thoughts on that, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a like, subscribe to join the Swole Squad, comment below the word cupcake. Don't ask. If you'd like to support me on Patreon for just $2 a month, link is in the description. Shout out my patrons. I love you guys so much. If you'd like to support me on Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, link is also in the description. I also have merch. Go check out my Swole Squad merch, and I have workout programs on MamaSwole.com, so make sure you go check all that out. If you guys like this video and want to support me, I highly recommend you check out RAWGEAR. That is where this shirt is from. Pretty cute, huh? And I do have a discount code. You can use discount code MamaSwole for 10% off of everything on the website. If you use my code, that really helps support me, and I really appreciate every single one of you that use it. The link is in the description, so go check it out. Also, leave your thoughts in the comments below. What do you guys think? Bulking and cutting or main gaining or neither? I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good ass day.
How to get my weight up, yeah. Weight in the cake up, yeah. Turn up in the gym, know I'm calling Mama Swole. Bad little shawty and you know I'm on a roll.
Like an empress, know what you impressed with. Find me on the guest list. Got that Louis V necklace. Subscribe to the Mama Swole channel. Even if your name is random. Got it lit like a candle. Catch me swerving in the Lambo.